Hey everyone, it's Audrey, and something I've really been enjoying lately is film photography. I'm not an expert, far from it actually, but I have been shooting film for a few months now, and I thought it would be helpful to kind of share my experience as a beginner, answer some questions I've been getting on the few film rolls that I've shared to TikTok and Instagram, and hopefully give some tips and advice on shooting film as a beginner in case you're interested in trying it out. So let's get started. Which film camera do you use? So the one I've been using is the Fujifilm Zoom Date 110 EZ, and I found this at a random antique shop for around $35. I wasn't in the market for any particular model. I just knew that I wanted a 35mm point and shoot that had autofocus, auto load, auto exposure, everything auto. I didn't want anything manual because this was going to be my first time shooting film and I wanted to make it easy on myself. This is pretty much just a step up from a disposable camera, except it has a zoom lens, I can reload the film, and it has a few different exposure modes. Any places you recommend going to thrift a film camera? Antique shops, flea markets, thrift stores, camera shops. It's kind of easy for me to find film cameras living in Southern California, but it really depends on your area. I do notice that a lot of people that buy online will get it from eBay, though I have never tried that myself. Where do you get it developed, and do they send it back digitally? So the photo lab that I go to is the Photo Lab in Costa Mesa, and another film photographer actually recommended it to me. I had tried a few different places to get my film developed before, and it either took too long or I wasn't really a fan of the quality. So when I tried this place, I was really blown away by the colors, the time frame that it took. Usually when I drop my film off here, I'll get it back within a couple of hours. So I will get the developed negatives, and then they'll send me an email link that has all the digital files, all the digital scans of my film, so I can easily have it on my phone and post it online for you to see. Where do you buy your 35mm film? Whenever I go to the photo lab, I will just pick up another roll of film just to replace the one that I just used. But I usually get them at camera shops, other photo labs. I know Walmart will sell Fujifilm Superia Extra 400 for around $18 for 3 rolls. I've also seen a lot of film available on Amazon. What is your favorite film? So in my very limited experience, I don't think I can really have a favorite yet because I haven't been shooting film for that long. But I have tried Kodak Portra 400, Ultramax 400, Fujifilm Superia, and Color Plus 200. And so far I really like Kodak, at least, just because the colors are a lot warmer. And specifically Color Plus, the tone is very warm, the colors are really rich, it's very saturated. And the other kind of film stocks are a little bit less saturated. That's just something that I really like to see in my photography. I also like to shoot with a lot of sun, a lot of light. Having an ISO of 200 is pretty good for the amount of light that I usually have in my photos. What are some of your favorite online photography classes? I'm gonna take this opportunity to call out today's sponsor, which is Skillshare, an online learning community with thousands of classes for the creative and curious. I've been using Skillshare for almost a year now, and it's just a really cool place to learn new skills, develop existing hobbies, and find inspiration from other creatives on there. I usually like to take a look at their photography classes and found this one called Film Photography, The Ins and Outs of Going Analog by photographer Antonio Castello. It's about an hour long, and I found it really educational. He shared the history of photography, understanding the process of film, And this class included an assignment, which I turned in and got some pretty helpful feedback on. If you'd like to try out the class, the first 1,000 subscribers to click the link in the description will get 30% off an annual premium membership. Even if you've already had a free trial of Skillshare, you can still take advantage of the offer, get a full year of unlimited learning and creative exploration, whether it's film and video, music, fine arts, or whatever else you're interested in. What's the cost of using film continuously? So that really depends on whatever film stock you're using and however expensive the film lab that you go to is. So say it's like $7 to $9 for a roll of film, and then $15 when I get my film developed and the digital scans back. It's around $25 if I round up for 36 exposures, so that it does, build up over time. Are there any filters on IG close to the film that I use? Probably, but I haven't found one that I quite like yet. I've tried a couple apps that are supposed to mimic the appearance of film, but I find that the grain is not quite right, the colors are off, the contrast is either too much or too little, or for some reason it's just very blue. And also I've noticed that a lot of editing apps are subscription based, and I would rather spend my money on something else. So I haven't really tried anything yet. I usually tend to use Lightroom when I have my digital camera, and I've kind of been playing around to see if I can mimic that appearance of film, but it doesn't look like film to me, but maybe I'm just being too picky. Why do you store your film in the fridge? I do this because it was recommended to me by other film photographers, and I've read that it's supposed to keep your film fresh and extend its lifespan. Film has an expiration date, it degrades over time, especially when exposed to extreme heat or humidity. It's also recommended on the box, so I keep my film in this drawer in the fridge, take it out once I'm ready to shoot, wait for it to reach room temperature to avoid any condensation, and then load the film canister into my camera. Are you using flash on your photos most of the time? No, I rarely use flash unless I need to, and that's only in situations like, let's say it's nighttime, or I'm severely backlit, or I'm indoors and there's not enough light. I tend to prefer not to use the flash. There are situations where, I'll maybe try it out just to see what it looks like, but I find that super white, bright light kind of just washes out all the colors that I'm trying to preserve and capture, so I just prefer not to. How do you expose correctly? Do you use a light meter? So like I said before, the camera that I use has several different exposure modes. I think it has one for red eye, flash, no flash, landscape. Since I'm just shooting for fun, toggling between those different exposure modes is probably as far as I go in that department, but I probably will pick up a light meter when I'm taking more advanced photos. Like I said, I've only been shooting for a couple months, so I'm still kind of trying to focus on composition, understanding light a little bit more, and just capturing the right moment. Raleigh does have his 35mm SLR camera that has a built-in light meter. I've played around with it a little bit, but I'm not too comfortable with it. Maybe eventually when I get a little bit better. What do you enjoy about film compared to digital? That would probably be how much more thoughtful I have to be with my shots. With a digital camera, you can take as many pictures as your SD card will allow, but a roll of film is usually only 36 exposures. So I have to be a lot more intentional with what I'm shooting. I could technically use those 36 tries to capture that perfect photo, but considering the cost of film, that really is not an ideal situation. It's more about waiting to capture the right light, that perfect moment, and I've definitely learned to appreciate the art of photography a lot more this way. So I think that's going to be it for the video. If I didn't answer your question, feel free to leave it in the comments down below and I'll try to get to it. Thank you for watching, thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!